Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go through each step in detail, and let's begin with step one. Now, as I've said in the overview, step one is the most important stage. Step one is the foundation of the relationship, and it's the thing that we always come back to. Step one is the reason that we have meetings with no specific reason for the meeting. Yeah, this is relationship maintenance. This is keeping in touch. This is keeping your knowledge of the customer fresh at all times. So let's just look a little bit in what happens here. Now, in evaluating the business environment, now the customer is involved in an ongoing stage. Evaluating the business environment, let's just think about what that means. If I'm a customer, let's say I am the sales director of a particular company, then what am I doing? I'm looking at my sales force. I'm looking at the results, I'm looking at the forecasted results, I'm looking at my people, their skills, I'm looking at my customer base, I'm thinking about what my boss wants me to do over the next 2 or 3 years, I'm thinking about the key challenges that I've got, I'm thinking about some of the problematic customers, some of the best customers, I'm trying to maximize my profit, I'm trying to speed up my sales process, I'm trying to increase the quality of the sales process. I've got a whole bunch of things on my list that I want to try and achieve, and I've probably only mentioned like 20% of them or something. This is me evaluating my business environment as a sales director. But I'm always doing this, right? I don't wake up on a Friday morning and say, okay, it's time to evaluate my business environment. Let me do this in about 2 hours. Or 2 minutes. It's the kind of thing that is an ongoing process. However, within this ongoing process, there are stages in the year where I need to show my organization, my boss, my evaluation of my business environment. Yeah, and usually this will come up at around the stage where we're looking at the budgets for the following year. I need to invest. I need to spend money on my sales environment, and there's certain things that I just need to do. Yeah. And so there'll be a kind of budgeting process or something where I have to get my plans in place, and I will usually document those plans, right? Maybe I've got a PowerPoint or a couple of slideshows which kind of document my ideas for the next time. Maybe it's an Excel sheet where the numbers are. Maybe it's a couple of emails where I'm just kind of describing my plans for the following year, maybe even 2 years or 3 years if it's for some larger projects. Okay, so as a business professional, I have a duty to plan for the future, and that's what this stage is all about for the customer. So as the salesperson, what do I want to do? I want to understand this person, right? I want to understand where they're going, where they need to go, where their organization is going. I want to understand what their priorities are, what's important to them. I want to, ideally, I'd love to understand what their key projects are for the following year, and the way that they will be measured. I mean, I'm a sales rep, I get measured on results, but these guys, they get measured on performance, and this performance is very important to them. So but of course I haven't just got the one person as my customer, I've got the whole organization. So I'm trying to understand this company's business. Yeah, I'm understanding their priorities, their direction, and ideally I'm understanding their business plan. Yeah, their business plan and their key priorities for the following 1, 2, 3, 4 years or so. I think I mentioned already, yeah, the amount of time that we're looking at depends. If I'm selling into a government organization, then I'm looking at 1 year, 2 year, 3 year plans, sometimes 4 or 5 year plans for very large projects. If I'm looking at a pharmaceutical organization or a company that does big heavy machinery, they have long-term planning processes. But if I'm looking at retail or IT or telco, then the planning processes are much, much quicker and shorter, something down to 1 year, 9 months, sometimes even less. Yeah. Now, the proof step, the customer and the seller agree to the value of a relationship. What does that mean? Well, in a situation where the customer has, where you have got an established relationship to the client, this is an existing account, maybe even a key account, then this is something that is not rocket science. Yeah, the customer speaks about your organization internally. They become an internal reference for you. They tell other people in their organization that you do good jobs and you do good work. Your projects are successful, and you're trustworthy, credible sources of information, and you work hard. Yeah, that's the goal of step one in any sales process. That's what we want the customer eventually to think about us. If it's a new opportunity, then we want the customer to look at us and say, yeah, I think these guys may well be worth asking for their opinions. They're certainly worth asking for a proposal. We want to see what a proposal looks like, and we've had a couple of conversations with them. They know what they're talking about. They're really trying to understand us and our concerns and issues, and we're happy about moving forward and speaking to them about a project. Okay, sounds good for step one, right? That's the ideal level of relationship that we're looking for. And so what we need to do as salespeople is create relationship. Yeah, if we've never had a relationship there before, we've got to open the door. We've got to make first contact. But if we're going to make first contact with, who are we going to call? Who are we going to speak to? What are we going to speak about? Yeah, and so it's very possible that we will go into some kind of planning process or some kind of meeting before we even make our first calls to the customer, just to find out what we know and to build a list of assumptions about where this organization is going. So tools like the internet, the company's website, maybe even their intranet, if there's some way you can get access to that. Understanding who their competitors are, understanding who they sell to, understanding what their products and services are, where their key markets are, where their customers are, some of their challenges, some of their maybe some of their business plans and projects. If you've done business with a similar company in the past, then there's very possibly information from that organization that will be similar to this new account as well. And so this kind of information, spoken about, packaged in the form of an email or a presentation, building the foundation of knowledge so that you can go in and demonstrate some level of credibility with the customer. How much credibility do you need? Well, you don't need to be an expert. Well, you may need to be an expert depending on who you speak to. If you're speaking to some, very intensive kind of project management type person who only expects or only respects expertise, then you will need to be an expert. If you're going in looking for opportunity, then you'll need a level of credibility. Maybe not full expertise, but you'll need a level of understanding about your client's business, your client's industry, and their account. Quick story on step one. A long time ago, I met a guy on a workshop, and then 5 years later, I'm doing a similar workshop in the same country. I see this guy again. I say, hey, how you doing? He says, good. I said, you left the company that, where did we meet? You were working for that company then? He says, yeah, I left them. And I said, why did you leave? He says, well, I found a smaller company doing, kind of mainframe type technology, but not on mainframes, and very interesting for me. And I said, well, you were a sales rep. Didn't you find it a problem building up a completely new pipeline? And And he says, no. I mean, I waited for a couple of years, of course, after leaving my old company to fulfill my contractual obligations not to call my customers again. But of course my customers knew that I'd left, and I was keeping in contact with them informally. And when the time came, I gave my old customer list a call, and I said, guys, I'm back, I'm here, I'm back again. And all of them said, hey, come in, we'll give you some time, tell us what you're doing, show us what you've got. Yeah. And I said, what, is that because you're such a nice person or such a nice guy? And he said, well, yes, I am a nice person, and but my interaction with these clients is not personal. I don't play golf with them, I don't go drinking with them, I don't go on holidays with their families, I don't know their birthdays or remember their the names of their kids, none of that stuff. Every time I speak to these people, it's about business, it's about projects. And so the reason I was able to go back in is because I had a history with them of good projects, of good sales, and of good knowledge. I always tried to demonstrate that I was interested in what they were doing, where they were going, and what was important to them. Yeah, and for me, this was just a very, very important reflection on the importance of step one. It's not a sales stage. It is a sales stage. It's a maintenance stage. We maintain our relationships over time. Yeah, we maintain the quality of our relationships, and we constantly strive for knowledge about our customers that can help us identify new opportunity and can really help us show the client that we are credible sources of information, and we're good to work with because we do good work with them. Okay, that's step one.